So, in case you're not a part of this phenomenon, it is truly a worldwide phenomenon. Stephenie Meyer's Twilight movies have made 3 young actors overnight international sensations. Take a look.
My agent calls me and says, "What do you think about making a movie out of Twilight?" When I was writing Twilight, it was so visual for me. I could see all the characters, I could see the places, I could see the actions. It was like a movie in my head. When we were first doing the casting for this, I knew that the problem was going to be Edward, right? Because he's a perfect vampire. And so how do you cast that from your pool of human actors?
British actor Robert Pattinson plays the beautiful and alluring vampire, Edward Cullen.
With Edward, we looked around and there were people that were pretty but that didn't quite, do it. The producer, Jillian, that I work with most closely, she sends me a picture of Rob. He's got something about him. He doesn't look like everybody else. There's something unusual. And then I got on set, and he's in makeup and in costume. And Rob is like, 2 different people. When he's Rob, and then he shifts into character, and all of a sudden he's Edward.
I can't ever lose control with you.
And there were moments where he looks exactly like it did in my head. That was really exciting. It's like, wow, they really nailed this.
Former child star Kristen Stewart is the love-struck Bella Swan.
With Bella, it was a little bit easier because, easier in one sense, because you have the girl next door, right? And there's plenty of people who look like the girl next door. And we were really lucky that Kristen Stewart, who's a phenomenal actress, I didn't know if we were going to get that caliber.
I'm not afraid.
And teen heartthrob Taylor Lautner is Jacob Black, the werewolf vying for Bella's heart.
Jacob in Twilight hadn't really been developed at that point. I knew he was there, but I hadn't gotten into who he was yet. With New Moon, one of the worries going in is we're going to have werewolves. The first time I got to see them, there's this scene where all of them come into the scene at once, and the ground shakes because they're so big and they look so real. That, for me, was just the most amazing moment where I wanted to cry and I wanted to jump up and scream, and it was amazing.
Actor Robert Pattinson is on the cover of this month's Vanity Fair looking so very cute. He has women all over the world. Women all over the world in a frenzy, just losing their minds. So tell all of us what Robert is like. Is he nice? Does he smell good?
He smells great. Rob is hilarious. He is the funniest person. He is really fun to hang out with. He's not at all like the Edward character. It's interesting to watch him kind of shift back and forth because he's so different as Rob, and he just changes. His whole face changes. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, and what was it about him? I was asking, was it something in his eyes? And you said it was more than just the eyes. It was...
The eyes, the facial structure. He just doesn't look like everybody else in a very good way. When I first met him, we were having lunch, and it wasn't the first time I met, but he walked to the restaurant, and you could just see people on the street kind of going, who's that? Because he's very striking looking.
Wow. So I understand that you have a Twilight New Moon secret that you've never revealed before. And what is that?
Well, I'm pretty open about my writing, so people know most of what goes on. But there was a different ending to New Moon originally. It was a much quieter book. It was very much all in Bella's head. And I was telling my mom about it. I'd only written it out longhand, at night in my notebook. And my mom's like, Stephenie, maybe a little more action at the end would be a good idea. Maybe you need that. And she was right, as usual. So after kind of stewing about it, I introduced the Volturi a little bit earlier in the series than I was planning, and that whole scene at the end, that's kind of my favorite part now, is there because my mom told me it would be better that way.
Thanks to your mom and thanks to Emily. Well, New Moon opens November 20th, and in case you didn't know this already, the Twilight series, what is amazing is, just like for me and my kids at the Academy, I would have probably never opened a book to read it, and so many mothers started reading it because their daughters were reading it, and then sisters and friends, and now people, women and men of all ages, are into the Twilight series. It's ignited a love of reading for children and adults alike. And joining us on Skype is librarian Crystal Methlin and 20 teachers and students at Bolivar Middle School in Missouri, and they are all obsessed with Twilight. Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
And, well, this is what I love, is that you say Twilight has created a culture of literacy at your school. How so?
Oh, it totally has. It all started with the students. They begged the teachers to start reading the books, and we committed to it, and it spread like wildfire at that point. It just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it rekindled a love of reading among teachers and students, and it just spread, and we have a common language now, and we talk in quotes, and it's just been a total phenomenon. And
I love that.
Yes, it's been amazing.
I hear that you have a waiting list for this book in your library, and as a librarian, I know you would love this. There's a waiting list of 1,000 kids.
Yes, yes, there is. The year before this phenomenon started, we had a waiting list of 13 books, and then once this started, we had a waiting list of 1,000.
Well, I see you all with your New Moon T-shirts on, waiting for New Moon. Yes, and I understand you're gonna all go to the movie as a group.
Oh yes, we have big plans. We've had plans for over 2 months now.
Over 2 months. Yeah, I can tell you, it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. So, what do you want to say, Stephenie, to them about this 1,000 kids on the waiting list?
Wow, that is a lot of people waiting for books. But I think that we can probably fix that. And I think that next week you guys won't need a waiting list anymore.
The reason why you won't need a waiting list anymore is because we're sending how many books?
600, I believe.
We're sending 600 books, so every student has their own. All right. And not just one, we're sending you the 4 books all together in one grouping. Every student gets all 4. That's right. Perfect Christmas gift, too, I must say. Audience, we're not leaving you out. Of course, you're going home with your